we're back for the UFC 246 preview on the Octagon podcast. Conor McGregor v Donald Cerrone is the main event, with Hollyholm Raquel Pennington as the co-main. I'm here today with my only co-host today, as Johnny Scott is not back with us here in university yet, as it's just me and Sam Hayward today for you.
Hi guys.
So Sam, it's the one we've been waiting for.
Excuse me, the one we were waiting for was the last one. This one is interesting to say the least.
Maybe not the card we've been waiting for, but
the fight
we've been waiting for.
I'll agree with that. I will agree with that.
So Conor McGregor on his return against Donald Cerrone after his loss against Khabib back in October 2018.
2018. We're in
Honestly,
2020 now.
It feels like that was 3 years ago.
Yeah. Well,
how that was a year and a bit.
I think it's because we haven't celebrated anything he's done for is it 4 years he hasn't won in? Or 3?
Must be 3, was it, Nate Diaz?
No, it was Alvarez, wasn't it?
Oh wait, Eddie Alvarez. Last fight, yeah.
Last win. Oh, gosh.
So back in 2016?
Flipping heck.
2 wins over Nate Diaz and Eddie Alvarez back in 2018.
That's a long time ago.
So,
but I guess we'll talk about that fight later on, but it seems interesting.
So McGregor, you've seen a lot of his interviews lately and stuff like that. How much of a different guy he seems?
I think he's I think he said stuff about the last fight where there was so much mind games, and I think he went into that thinking he got really into his head, didn't he, of Khabib, but it clearly didn't have that much of an effect. The guy was clearly riled up because you saw what he did after the fight, but I think he's gone with more of just respect for Cerrone in this fight, and he's really put the work in. It looks like, from everything that everyone's saying, like Kavanaugh and everyone like that, he looks like he's ready for a war, and he's a different fighter, and I do think he might be. I think he looks really good. He's walking around, he looks impressive, which is good to see, because we don't want to see him losing again.
Like you say, there's a lot of respect in this one. If anyone did see the press conference last night,
yeah, that was fun.
There was no animosity there or anything. There was just respect between the two fighters, which is we do like to see, of course, but it's different for Conor McGregor, really, isn't it?
You expect more from him, I think.
But I think this is a good approach he's taken.
Well, I saw a lot of people saying on Twitter that it was boring and it's not what they signed up for. You want the McGregor show.
But he wants to be different now. Like he shows how he was saying about him training. He has all this money, and there would be I can't remember who it was, someone who spent 3 million on training. And
Did
he was
he?
like, no, not him. Someone had, and he was like, I've spent nothing on training over the years. So now I've just thought I need to spend my money. I have all this money and spend my money that way, and look how good I can become. So if he's never spent money on training and all these resources now.
Well, he's training at home, isn't he? Originally, he's got his own. He's doing it all himself.
This is obviously he's got John Kavanagh as his coach, and this is the first time he's in the corner with him.
Is it?
It's quite surprising, yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. As his coach, he's trained with him over the years and stuff like that.
I thought he was just lead trainer for his entire career.
But he was he was saying yesterday on his.
Maybe he's doing it differently. I might be wrong. I'm not sure. I've always known them two to be together though.
Yeah. I think they have always been together, but he was saying it was the first time we'd have him.
Oh right, okay. Well, I think this is going to be a war. To be honest, this fight. I think it's going to be fun, and someone's going to get knocked out. I think It should be exciting, you know. Obviously, both of them are really good. Cerrone's good everywhere. He's got 36 wins. He's the most winningest fighter in the UFC. Really impressive guy. Really good on the feet, on the floor. He's got plenty of different types of win. He's got 17 submissions, 10 TKOs, and 9 by decision. He's only been submitted once, so, you know, he has been knocked out 6 times, or TKO'd 6 times, which is interesting because we know Conor definitely has that sort of power. Like, very clearly is able to do stuff like that. And that might be a problem. He's just lost 2 in a row, Ferguson and Gagey, so
yeah,
both TKOs as well.
So he got battered by Justin Gaethje, to be honest, he did. Tony, I remember, it was it got called off, didn't it, because his eye was just...
Yeah.
Oh.
That was bad.
It was just... I remember it, because they say you're not meant to blow your nose.
Yeah, because...
So he blew his nose, and straight away his eye just blew up.
Yeah, that was a shame, that one, but then... I think he did look impressive against Ferguson. So I think that's something... When you look good against a guy like Ferguson, you know you're doing something right. He had 3 wins before that. He's always beaten like good names. He's got quite a lot of names. Struggles against the biggest of the names he's fought. You know, he lost to Dos Anjos, Lawler, Till, Ferguson, Gagey, Leon Edwards, which is really interesting because I think we like the look of him.
Yeah, and it's they're back in welterweight now, so
170,
which is Cerrone's back at welterweight, first time for McGregor, but
it's a good place for Cerrone to be. It's where Cerrone will want this fight.
Yeah, like he's lost his last 2 in lightweight, and back in welterweight he did lose to Darren Till. Like you say, he loses to them big names though.
Yeah,
Darren Till, Lawler.
I do think he's on the edge of the I guess the threshold of being the best fighter. He's always on the edge of that. He's really good, but he never gets to that next level, which is what he needs. Like, he's got wins against Quinter, Hernandez, Perry.
He's in the bracket below, isn't he?
But
really?
yeah, he just can't
below the best. But
he can't get the best, and we know that Conor.
He can bring the best.
Absolutely, he makes the best fights and he pushes them, but he just doesn't seem to get it across the line. Which is probably why, you know, he's going to struggle. I do think he will struggle against McGregor in areas. I think he'll be better in other areas, especially like freshness in terms of the actual fighting. Considering he recently fought in September and now it's January, so he doesn't struggle with fighting too much. He's always up for a fight, and I think that with Conor having that long off could affect Conor in terms of like ring rust, as they say, and stuff like that, which is like it's been I was looking at something that suggested that doesn't really exist and it doesn't make sense, but I do think it's important to think about because he hasn't fought in a while, McGregor, and Cerrone does keep active, but it was a big, pretty bad loss to Gagey, which could affect him in this fight. But from looking at him and stuff like his training and videos, he does look very game for this, which is obviously, I think, the biggest fight of his career.
Yeah, but that's why I think... You say he looks game, but that's why I think Conor McGregor's got no chance of not winning.
Do you think?
Because I think he's just so focused, and he's obviously one of the greatest.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
he'll just be too strong. I can't see like the weight being an effect. I know it's not. He's never been there before, and a lot of fighters it can be, but
yeah,
I think it's just going to bring him more power in his punch.
I know what you mean. I do think that's potentially the case. He's definitely, we've seen with like his ability to hit hard and accurately. Like the man knows exactly how to knock someone out, and he's got 18 TKOs, so it's not. He's not going to struggle in that department. I think he could probably knock out anyone. Thinking about it, I do think, I think you're right in the fact that he should win this fight. I do think they've sort of fed him, Cerrone, and the understanding that he'd win the fight and he'd give him a good name to fight against. I think they've said, right, he's coming back. We need him to win. He has to win this fight coming back.
He has to win.
And there's no point in fighting. Like, he's never going to fight a really low name. You give him Cerrone, who everyone knows, everyone's heard of, and people respect him. Although he's lost 13 fights, he's respected, and you can put him against that, and you think, you're giving McGregor a good fight, which would probably give him a good showing. I doubt it's going to be a really quick knockout, but it will make him look good, and probably will help Cerrone as well, this sort of fight, even if he does lose, I think. But a McGregor loss would be horrendous.
For everyone. Not everyone, there's a lot of haters out there for him. I'm a fan myself, as you can see.
I think it wouldn't help the sport.
No.
He brings a lot.
He's made the UFC, and a lot of people know that. He's made it a lot. Well, there's obviously so many fighters we love now, but he's made everyone, the whole sport, bigger.
He's definitely made it a lot more mainstream.
Yeah,
which is
so. If McGregor wins, what do you think would be next?
He's always talked about that third fight with Nate, but I don't think that's next. I think that either doesn't happen or happens in a year or so. I don't think that happens this year.
So next fight, like, obviously we can't guess. We can't just say, because with McGregor, he says, I'll fight him, I'll fight everybody. If you had to go for a realistic fight, if he wins...
Is this a fight I want?
No, realistically, what you think, if he wins against Cerrone, what do you think?
Well, I think...
next possible fight.
I think it's...
the most realistic fight to happen, because if we're realistically thinking Khabib will not be the next fight, Nate will not be the next fight.
No, I think we moved down a division
to lightweight again.
Yeah, I think he goes back to lightweight, and I think I don't know. That's a struggle.
Justin Gaethje, maybe.
Yeah,
because I was listening to McGregor, like his interviews, and he's saying, I will fight Gaethje, and if it's not next, then it's surely not later, because realistically, Justin Gaethje has big names, but he's not the biggest name, he's bigger names, and if McGregor wants to focus on welterweight, potentially, Usman, Masvidal...
I don't think he's going to fight much at welterweight. I think he goes to lightweight. I think that makes sense to him. Just having a look at the people at lightweight. Who do you think, if you were to really like, if it was lightweight, where would you want him to fight in there next? What do you think? I'm trying to... As in,
what do you mean by that?
If he went down to lightweight, like, what would you say is a good fight for him there?
So we're talking... Khabib Tony Ferguson's got to be next. It is next.
That is next,
of course,
that's
in April.
fine.
But I say that because of the amount of times it's not been next.
I believe it's 4 times.
Yeah, and then we've got just Dustin Poirier, haven't we? But
thing is, I think he'll definitely
had too many chances.
I think he's gonna stand in. You have got Gaethje who's looking good.
It will have to be Justin Gaethje. There's no one else there, because you've got Paul. You got in the lower than McGregor. You got Paul Felder and Dan Hooker who are fighting. I think it's next month in New Zealand, so they'll be upcoming, and like obviously, well, Paul Felder's been around. Both of them have been around for a while, but
yeah,
never really had the chance of they at the top. But
that's
not for. I still think.
Looking at this, it's Gaethje, and I think
it's Gaethje or stick in welterweight for now, and someone in welterweight, because there is a lot of opponents.
Welterweight's hugely stacked.
Yeah, you've got. Imagine him and Colby Covington.
I just don't know. I just don't know if he'd fancy any of them fights. Like,
I don't see why not.
They're massive names at welterweight.
There's
Like,
4 huge names there. 5 if you are. Well, obviously Rafael dos Anjos as well, but I wouldn't include him.
has he already fought dos Anjos?
Uh,
Oh no, he
yeah.
pulled out, didn't he? He had a fight
Yeah, he
against dos
pulled out,
Anjos,
and
and
it
he
was-
was injured, and he fought Nate instead. Yeah, that was why the first Nate fight happened, I do believe.
Yeah.
I'm looking at names like,
I can't see him fighting dos Anjos though.
well, wait, Pettis is 2, gone. Lawler gone. Some interesting fights though there, like maybe Leon Edwards rising
Yeah,
up. That'd be a
yeah.
fun English fight.
But
Sort
that,
of.
yeah, definitely. But I think Leon Edwards deserves like more of a. I know McGregor's obviously huge, and anyone could deserve McGregor, but like
I
a
saw-
potential title shot soon, and McGregor's not at that title shot, obviously, is he? So
Well, I saw conversations of the Masvidal's BMF title. He spoke about that, saying
Yeah.
he's not saying he'd rather fight for the belt than that, but he'd still be interested. You got Covington, Woodley, Masvidal, Usman, all these names. I think it's a good division, but for
fight
him,
for the real belts.
for him to really move on, I think he wants to be sticking in lightweight where he's more comfortable. I know he says his walking around weight's 170, but like, I don't know. You know, lightweight's a nice division. He is going to struggle against Habib, and he's going to struggle against Ferguson, I think, which is maybe why he doesn't want to be there. But and I don't know. Yeah, it seems like if he wins this, I do think he'll probably stay at welterweight. You know, there are some interesting fights there, definitely.
Let's just leave it at anything can happen, because we don't know what goes through his mind, do we? So
I think he'll get a massive name, though, obviously.
finally, let's just talk about what would be next for Cerrone if he got the win.
Cerrone.
So it's been a rocky career for Cerrone. He's been up and down.
Up and down the whole way, yeah.
So
I think this
whether
is
he's going to stay,
welterweight.
I think. Do we think? Firstly, actually, let's go to if he loses. Do we think he's retiring then, or
If he loses,
if he loses, do we think he's going to retire then? Because I remember there was talk of him retiring. I think it was before. Was it after his loss to? No, I feel like it was before maybe the Mike Perry fight, but then he beat Mike Perry, so maybe it was potential retirement if he lost to Mike Perry.
maybe, but
then he's just
3 losses in a row isn't going to put him in a great place
no
at all.
3 big fights for him though, weren't they, in a way?
Yeah, just, you know, Nate,
Yeah.
Gagey, and then Connor. 3 quite large names, and all of them losses in a row. Doesn't like suggest that you want him. You know, he's not going to be looking at really a top. He's a name, but a top 4 fight wouldn't be just if he's lost 3 in a row. So then when you're really fighting out of there, there's not much for him to fight with. I don't really feel there.
I think if he loses and if he carries on fighting, it's for the money, isn't it? Because he's not going to get any sort of shot
Well, yeah,
at the
probably
title
not.
if he loses.
He,
And
he's definitely going to make a lot of money tomorrow night, though.
Saturday night.
So that'll be interesting for him.
Yeah. So
I think after this will be the best. Will be the time for him to think.
but if he wins, do we think he'll push on at welterweight maybe? And I think he'll definitely stay on, won't he, if he wins?
Definitely, yeah. That's massive for him. You see, that he's made over $1 million in bonuses in his career.
Is he?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Considering the fight of the night's for only 50k, that's got to be. God.
Yeah. Well.
It's over 20 times, really. Over 20 bonuses, really.
Yeah. Well,
That's
probably. Yeah. But it's ridiculous.
Over 20 bonuses in what? How many fights has he had? About
He's had
50?
36 wins and something.
13 losses, something like that, isn't it? I think so. 50 fights. Wow.
Yeah, well,
Well,
to be fair, he is a good fighter. You know, he puts on a lot of really good displays and makes people want to watch. So, like, it makes sense he's getting this sort of a bonus, and it's
going to be a cracking fight.
It's going to be a cracking fight. I agree with you.
But I don't think long. As my prediction, I'm going to put at. I did originally have first round, but I changed it to early second. But I feel like it could still be late first. I know it's been a bit predictable here with McGregor, but that's the way I feel like it's going to come. And
how do you think it'll happen then? You think it'll
just a TKO? I just feel like he's just going to catch him. I don't feel like he's going to be battering him. I feel like he's just going to be constant at him, catching him, and then he's just going to get him with one. TKO him.
I think I agree with you in the round. I think what it'll be is like he'll start off really excited and put a lot of pressure on Cerrone, a lot of punches. I think he'll win the first round, go into the second and just keep going, and then I think eventually the pressure will get enough for Cerrone and he'll just succumb to the punches. I think some point in the second. I think you go sort of fourth, he might struggle more. If he gets later on in the fight, Cerrone's going to come into his own.
Cerrone's going to want to be looking to go the whole way. So.
Yeah.
But I just can't see, with him, Justin Gaethje knocking out, obviously anything can happen, but Justin Gaethje's so powerful that against Cerrone in the first round, I can just see McGregor coming, all guns blazing.
I agree with you, yeah. I do think he'll come all guns blazing, and I think that will work for him.
5 minutes is it's a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, he's going to soak up a lot of pressure in that first round. I think the second round he's going to soak up even more pressure, and then eventually it's going to be like, okay, that's it then. I think I do agree with you on that second round.
Your second round too, yeah?
Second round,
so
McGregor.
we're both going second round, McGregor.
Yeah.
Need to differentiate at one point. So, that's the main card. Definitely we have to agree on the best card by a mile, as we don't feel like this card's the most stacked, do we, for a main UFC event.
No, that's definitely the biggest fight.
We've seen, compared to the last UFC 245, which we've covered, had 3 title fights. So it's not the best, highest stacked cards, but potential for good fights on this main card, but not the biggest names.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
But on the co-main,
there are some big names like the one we're about to talk about.
Yeah, like the one now. Co-main events: Holly Holm v Raquel Pennington.
Good fight. Should be fun. Yeah. I like him.
Should be a good fight, definitely, with Holly Holm.
She's definitely
being a prestigious character.
Yeah, she's got. Obviously she's got wins over some very big names, which is.
I remember that Rousey fight. Obviously, I think when everyone thinks Holly Holm, they think Ronda Rousey, don't they, straight away? Because
I think you have to. I think
she was amazing. She just dominated, and then I think that's what I think with this fight. I've watched Holm and Pennington past few days as well, recapping over them. It's like Raquel Pennington's got, I think it's, about 7 submissions or something like that, I think. What is it? 6 submissions.
6.
So,
yeah. No, she's got 3 submissions, 6 decisions, 1 TKO.
Oh, sorry, yeah. 3 submissions, 6 decisions. So she looks to go for the clinch a lot, and I feel like they've obviously fought before. Holm won. If you haven't seen that fight, I've seen it myself. And Holm just comes at her.
Yeah, well, Pennington's 10-7. It's not great, to be honest.
No.
A lot of her fights are decisions, which is kind of not the case for a Holm. You know, she's got 4 decisions but 8 TKOs. You know, so she's clearly got definitely much more of a knockout power than Pennington. I think that's going to really be visible in this fight, I do think. But she's 38 now. You know, she's
That Raquel Pennington.
No, Holly Holm, 38. You know,
she is.
She was a kickboxer for a long time. Pennington's only 31, I believe. So there might be some sort of fatigue out there for her Holm. You know, she's been around for a long time. She's got a lot of experience as a fighter. I think she was a kickboxer for a long time, from what I know. So it'll be interesting to see what she does in this. But I do think it's going to be a good fight. I just think that if it goes to distance, it'll probably be Pennington on pressure and just applying a lot of pressure and, doing quite a lot in the fight. You know, she doesn't have any submission wins. She's lost via submission before. She's been knocked out and she's lost on 3 decisions home. So she might struggle in that area of being a struggle in that area. But I think if she's on her game with her kicks, which we know are very dangerous, and her punches, and I think that's where it's going to be more of a struggle for Raquel Pennington, because you know she doesn't seem like she's great in that area. If she can grab you and get you down, then she'll be all right. But you know, you don't want to go dangerously into a situation standing right in the pocket of Holly Holm, because she is absolutely lethal with her kicks and punches. 8 TKOs in 12 wins is pretty good, to be honest. She is coming off a loss to Nunes though, where she did get TKO'd.
And she lost to Jermaine Durandamy as well.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. As you say, 38. This is definitely, I think without a doubt, if she loses, I think she'll either retire or like be one of her last fights, definitely.
Well, yeah. Since that massive Rousey win.
Is she it's so tough with the women's divisions now, because is she going to beat Nunes? No.
No, she just lost.
She's lost to her inside, what was it?
I think the first round.
First round, so like...
Yeah,
I'm thinking, I knew it was the first round, I'm thinking whether it was inside.
It was with 4 minutes 10
to go, or... yeah, I'm thinking whether it was early.
I can't remember that fight.
But, yeah, so... I think both of them, if they both win, they'll definitely be within a chance of a title shot. But we've got to remember there's still Jermaine Durandamy there, and there's the Aspen lad, of course, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at Raquel's most. You know, she just just had a win against. Both have lost to Durandamy and Nunes recently.
I remember fighting that Irene Aldana.
Yeah, but that was a recent split decision win. The last fight they had was a split decision. So, you know, I think it could be a close one. The last one went to decision. I think for Holm it won't go to decision. If she wins, if she doesn't win, it'll be a decision for Pennington or some sort of.
What do you think then?
Oh, I think it'll be a TKO in the third for Holm. I think.
Okay, I like you say, you don't think I'm torn between a Holm split decision. I know you said you don't think it'll be Holm, but I think Holm might dominate. But I'm gonna go Holm second. I think she's, like you say, kicks. I think she's going to catch you with a kick.
Yeah, she's very accurate and dangerous. We've seen it before.
I'm going to catch you with a head kick for the TKO, I think, second round.
Second.
I think second.
Yeah. But
other than that split, so if I'll take a split decision. If but yeah, so
we're both thinking the Holly Holm win.
Yeah, but that's not me thinking a definite compared to McGregor. I think he will definitely win it. If I get that wrong, I am shocked to the core. This one,
yeah, this one's definitely more of a up in the air.
Maybe not even a 60-40. Maybe it's a 50-50. But
I mean, to be fair, you know what we're like for predicting fights, though.
Sometimes
we get about 90% wrong.
I was okay in the 245 prelims more than the main card, but
I definitely had a shocker that
But
night.
main card, how can we?
Waste of money as well.
How can we?
Yeah, you can't predict it. Like that one
with
was
Holloway
crazy.
and
But
stuff.
every time we seem to make a bold prediction, it's not right.
Well, there's only been 2 podcasts, so
True.
this one we might be right.
I hope so.
Let's go to. So we've got 3 fights left on the main card. Let's go to the 3rd fight.
Which hits?
Alexei Oleinik
Mm.
v Morris Green in the heavyweight clash. This is an interesting one. If you look at Alexei Oleinik, a lot of people might not have heard of him. I think I may have. I can't say I've seen
Anything you haven't?
live.
I have,
No. I've
definitely.
seen him. Obviously looked over him, but I'm thinking live. I obviously I think I definitely would have, because obviously watching the cards, there's some you don't really remember.
I've definitely at some point watched him fight on a card.
But if you look at his record, it's 57 wins, 13 losses,
Yeah.
and 1 draw, which is incredible. For let's have 71 fights in the MMA. Is
Yeah.
kind of unheard of, isn't it? Really.
Well, especially his 45 submissions.
It's 45 submissions is extremely unheard of. I was looking to think, I was thinking, has he got the UFC submission record at that? But if you look at his record,
Is
he
it
didn't
outside?
start fighting in the UFC till, so he was 51-9-1
Oh.
before. So he's only been in there since 2014.
So he's won 6, lost
So he's won,
6,
Yeah.
lost 4 in the UFC.
yeah. So he's won 6, lost 4. Yeah.
Oh dear, that's not.
It's not good. He's lost his last 2 as well, which is to Walt Harris and Overeem.
Yeah, over
He's only beat, from what we know of, he's beat Mark Hunt and Travis Brown. Other than that, he's lost to quite prolific names in the heavyweight division. But
Yeah, I'm looking now.
it's an interesting character, like we're saying, isn't it? Because he also does hold.
Yeah, well, he's clearly
first.
got that ability on the floor. I'm looking at it now.
He does hold the first Ezekiel choke in UFC history, didn't he?
Yeah, and did it again as
Which
well.
we looked at. He did it again, did he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see in here he did it. Junior Albini. He originally did it at Victor Pesta. I was watching that last
Last
night.
night.
And to describe, how can we describe it? So basically, he was on his back, and the other guy was on top of him, wasn't he? And the other guy was giving it him that round.
Yeah.
And
It surprised me when it was like, wait, what?
so when it feels like the lads just give it him really, but you don't know being on top and stuff.
Yeah.
So the lad's punching him on top, isn't he? And then this Oleinik grabs him, and while the lad's on top, his head's going into the corner, like near his armpit, isn't it? So now this Ezekiel choke must be literally squeeze the head.
Yeah.
So the he's just squeezed it near his armpit now.
Yeah,
And then he's ended up tapping. So that was the first Ezekiel choke in UFC history.
Yeah, it's quite a cool little thing.
He definitely seems to know his martial arts. With only obviously eight KOs and 57 wins is mad. 45 subs and only 4 decisions.
Considering eight of his however many fights have gone to decision is crazy.
Yeah.
8 of his 71 fights is crazy that he's only managed to get, and he's only been he's been TKO'd 7 times and submitted twice, which is quite surprising, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a fabulous record, but it's obviously
I think he's been
fought-
fighting some less than professionals.
yeah,
let's say that.
some
Some people who wanted to.
well, I
have a
think
bit
he's
of
been
fun.
he's been fought in Russia, so I think too many vodkas for his opponents.
Yeah, maybe. I think it'll be interesting to see what he can do. He's back. He needs to bounce back from a couple of losses in a row. I'd love to see him submit, get a good submission. impress some people.
Yeah, I'd like to see
Saturday
something.
night. Like,
well, you said like that. I'd like to see him knock him out.
reckon?
Because add to that 8 TKOs, it'd be brilliant
True,
seeing
yeah.
him with a big knockout. But
with looking at him, he can absorb pressure really well, and he's got a really good takedown, which he's definitely going to try and use. So he's obviously good on the ground with all these submissions, and really good at passing the guard and stuff. So I think it'll be interesting to see what he can do. If you've got 57 wins and 45 of them are submissions, you are clearly willing and capable to fight. He hasn't got the biggest names, but he submitted Mark Hunt, which is, what you think
what
it's...
Mark Hunt's been and his character.
That guy's able to fight, and it's probably not the easiest thing to do. I don't think I'd have a great time trying to submit Mark Hunt. Interesting though, Green, I do believe he's 6'8".
Yeah, I was
and
just looking at
Olenek
myself now because I was
6'2".
watching him yesterday, and he is a lanky character. He looks like he's a Lenny off of Mice and Men.
He's 6'7", actually, not 6'8".
Yeah, 6'7". So,
but a big guy.
But if Olenek's submission, he's going to be tough to bring down this guy.
5-inch. Problem is, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. It might be in that case, but he has actually got, in his 8 wins, half of them are submissions. He's never been submitted himself in the 11 fights he's had in MMA. So that's... But, again, we look at him...
And he lost his last fight to Pavlovich, who I vaguely heard of.
Who's he beaten?
No one. No, he's actually beat no one. He's had 4 fights in the UFC. Yeah.
Yeah, four his last 4 fights. He won the first 3.
No, he's beat nobody.
He lost to.
So this is realistically his biggest fight, probably.
It shocks me that this is a main card fight.
Yeah, and the third fight. That is shocking.
Clutching at straws, to be honest.
Which we'll later talk about near the end, Pettis, Ferreira. To think that's a worse fight than this is incredible.
Well, no, I think what they do is on the first fight, they put a bigger fight on to get people watching.
Yeah, I understand that then.
Just like this and the next fight we're going to talk about is...
Yeah, that's why we'll vaguely brief it.
They're undercard fights, to be honest. Maybe fight night fights, but...
Yeah, they're definitely prelim cards fights.
Should be fun though, these guys clearly are able to fight.
Anything could happen.
It'll be interesting to see
the fights, no matter who the names are anyway, don't we? So
they're both coming off losses, they're both looking to venture, and he's an absolutely massive bloke, this Green. He has a lot less experience, but so would anyone against
very
Olenek.
little experience for a 33-year-old as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess he's been fighting elsewhere and doing something else. I think it could make a big difference, that experience gap.
Anyway, if you think that,
yeah,
could be. I think I'm gonna go for a submission for Maurice Green.
You think what?
I think the height is just gonna play the difference, and I just think.
Yeah, but when that can play into submission's hands, when you're fighting against a tall guy, you can easily constrict the body.
I know, but I feel like he's just gonna come over on his back and just...
I think maybe the exact opposite is going to be a submission for Olenek, using his... submission's too obvious. I think... Do you know what?
Oh, you're going to state a choke?
It's going to be... No. It's going to be a decision win for Olenek. He's going to get another decision on his record, because I think these guys... I do think they're both probably about as good as each other.
Yeah.
I know Olenek's got a lot of wins, but
they're both they're not gonna ever compete.
Exactly, they're just not. They're not.
Like Sir John Jones,
they're not good enough. That division's too stacked in the first place. They're not good. They're much like Poirier. What am I talking about? Cerrone, where it's just not there. And I think these guys are actually below that. They're not even close to being top of their divisions. Somehow they're on this card. We could get surprised by Green.
They're not even ranked. Which is the crazy thing. They're not even. They're on. Oh, sorry. Olenek's 12th.
Well,
Morris Green is not ranked because Pavlovich, who beat him, is 14th ranked.
Oh, right,
But,
okay.
So that.
I think
this card's this high.
Do you know? I think
this fight,
the reason, and Dana was saying that they always struggle in January. It's the hardest month for them to get big fights because for whatever reason, I guess Christmas and there's always a massive fight at the end of the year, which obviously there just was. I think so. I think what they've done is tried to start the year off with a massive fight.
Yeah.
And then they can't get
Rather
in
than
like even let's be
massive
honest,
card.
the fact that Holly Holm is the co-main, or not necessarily the co-main, the second fight on a card right now against Raquel Pennington would never be the case on most cards. That wouldn't be the second fight.
No.
Like both of them not doing great. You know, clearly Pennington's got a lot of losses and Holmes she's struggled, especially, you know, since that Ronda fight, she's lost 3 times in her last 5. You know, so I think they've struggled with this card. They've got the main card and we'll get McGregor back, which is why they know people are watching. They don't necessarily have to make a stacked card. I do think it's a really weak card other than that main card. Pettis is a good name, but, you know.
Yeah, so we'll.
I mean, looking at their division though, the light heavyweight division,
heavyweight.
Sorry,
Miocic.
Have you? Apparently, something's happened to him. Something. I think he's something's going on with an illness or something with
No, I'm not seeing.
with Stipe that he's struggling. I mean, to be honest, that. Like, looking at there, you've got Rosenstrike.
Yeah.
Massive name. Lewis has always been a name in that division.
Rosenstrike's just come off a good win.
Rosenstrike looks incredible. He's soon to fight.
Santos, isn't it? And then Agani, there's all them names, and yeah, they're not names to be competing anytime.
Yeah,
if Morris Green, I think Olenek's too old and not now and stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Morris Green got a win this time and got a few more wins and obviously come more experience then potentially. But anyway, let's move on from that. Anyway, now
Not the most exciting of fights. I doubt.
to this one, which we are briefly going to touch on because.
What was your prediction for that last one?
Oh, sorry, yeah. I said submission, didn't I,
Yeah,
for Morris
you did.
Green, and I'm going to go in the third and final round.
What, when they're both walking around like zombies?
Yes.
Lazy takedowns. So now, where are we going? To the
We're going to the women's, the fourth fight, the second fight to be scheduled on the main card.
What division is this one in?
The strawweight.
Strawweight.
So, women's strawweight, Claudia Gadelha v Alexa Grasso. I remember these are two names that have fought in the UFC for a while, and they're not huge names, but they're
yeah,
there.
they're known.
They're known and they're there, and their potentials.
Yeah, that Gadella looks interesting to say the least. She's fun, decent striker, but her takedowns, her ground game is really strong. She has 7 submissions, which is something Grasso needs to look out for because that's clearly impressive. 7 submissions enough to sniff about. I would say she looks quite interesting for me. Not too sure on her. Watching her, I'm like, yeah, she looks good, but not amazing. I would say that. Probably be quite fun to keep an eye on for the division and see if she can get anywhere. Try and look at the strawweight, whether it's actually particularly interesting.
Yeah, it is. You got Zhang now, haven't you? He's dangerous. And then there's Rose still there, Jessica Andrade. And then there's Joanna.
I believe these are both lost to Joanna.
No. Goodell has gone all the way twice.
Right.
With Joanna, so
She lose both.
That's certainly a positive because Joanna, back when Joanna was before she lost to Rose, she was destroying heads first round and just honestly looking more brutal for than any woman for me at the time.
Yeah, well, she's got 4 losses.
So going all the way with her proves something.
Claudia Gadella's got 4 losses. Joanna, twice. Then Andrade and Ansarov.
So tough fights.
She's fighting the names and losing. The only big win I think she's got is against Cara Esparza. Which I believe
Grasso lost to.
Last
fight, yeah. And it was fight of the night. I think do you remember watching that? I remember a bit. I remember that vaguely, watching that. Being quite a good fight, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm looking at. She's got no noticeable wins.
Carolina, she's beat, of course, isn't she? Which is good, but
decision.
She's lost to
11
she's
and
lost to the ones up there like Tatiana Suarez and stuff. So
7 decisions in 11 wins. So it's clearly like not like the most power punching, which is understandable given, because again these two, I don't see how these two are beating any of the top 4 like Suarez, Namajunas, Andrade or Zhang.
Yeah, I think. Right. So the way for me it's going to go is, I think Grasso's going to come out more, and Gadella's going to look to go all the way. Yeah,
well, Grasso, she's got really good boxing, some accurate and powerful punches.
Yeah,
she's
that's why I think she's going to come out more. But I'm going to go for a shock win. I'm going to go for a shock KO. I think it's quite a shot there with Grasso winning.
It'd be interesting to see if she can deal with the takedowns and ground game, because clearly she's not as good as Gadella there. Gadella, she's more experienced, so she really has struggled with that. Only that, both of these really need a few wins to get going, these two. So, I think they'll both be really, 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 really excited to get a win if they can do this. Like, they'll put a lot into this fight, because for both of them, this is a massive fight.
Yeah, it's basically career defining, isn't it? In ways. I'm going to go for Grasso on points, I think.
Not a knockout.
No, I was going to, but I've changed my mind, thinking. I just think it'll go all the way.
I think it's going to be Gadella's going to take her down in the 3rd, and I think she's going to ground and pound and finish her. I think she seems just like she's got the ability there. As soon as she gets her down, I don't think Grasso's going to be able to defend her off her back, so she either submits her or tries the submission. She's trying to do everything to defend, doesn't defend the strikes, and then eventually it's a finish in the 3rd or 2nd. I'm going to go 3rd, but 2nd's probably equally as likely, if not more likely, to be honest.
Okie doke.
That should be interesting to see.
Final fight we're going to talk about, which will be the first fight on the main card, and it's Anthony Pettis v Carlos Diego Ferreira. I won't lie, I didn't know much of this Carlos Diego Ferreira, and him being pinned the favourite over Anthony Pettis shocked me.
Very surprising. Pettis is really good striker. Yeah. I had no idea this Ferreira bloke was, to be honest. I had to get Googling.
He hasn't fought anybody. It's 100% his biggest fight there's been. But that being said, I've watched some of him, and his last fight, it was against this Tasmanov, so he won on decision. And he's definitely a little. He's small and he's a scrapper.
Yeah.
But I don't see how he's such a big favourite. I think it's because he's just an upcomer, I suppose, and Pettis is coming back down to lightweight.
Is it his record? 16-2 is a good record.
Yeah, it's not. It's more the case of he's won his last 5.
Yeah.
So that's
yeah, he's got some.
But he's lost to Dustin Poirier. He's lost his 2 biggest fights against Darush and Dustin Poirier.
Tysonov's a good fight. It's a good win. He's a good fighter, Tyson Tysonov's. Aubin Mercier.
Yeah,
decent fight. Yeah,
decent. That other than that, I can't say I know the rest.
yeah, nothing actually to say much about.
But he's a tough battle, and his fight was a good last fight. But
yeah, Pettis is
He's
really good. 22-9. It's not the best record for Pettis.
No, but he loses against the best in ways, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, he's got wins against Michael Chiesa, Stephen Thompson,
Yeah.
Charles Oliveira, Jim Miller, big names. Benson Henderson twice, I believe.
And he'll fall short to the Tony Fergusons, and like we say,
Yeah, he's got
Diaz,
losses against Dos Anjos,
Poirier,
Alvarez, Barboza, Holloway. Yeah,
there's all these names he's fought, and that's why I just don't see why they're pinning Ferreira as the favourite, because of he's fought nobody. But
I think it's because he can't keep a win. His record is loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Can't get a streak going
well,
at the moment.
Win this time then after his last loss then.
Yeah, well, he needs that. Yeah, he definitely needs a win.
Yeah,
I think this would help him. I don't think he's, Pettis is. Again, another fighter.
Though,
he's another fighter that's just not quite there, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's been there.
Yeah, well, he's been lightweight champion, isn't he?
Yeah.
Of course, he has been there, and but I totally agree. Still quite young, 32.
Yeah, it's gonna be. He's got a good submission. He's obviously been.
He's got a good TKO and submission, isn't he? So that's what.
Yeah,
it is.
Pettis. He's been around the names. He's got so much experience fighting against massive names. And he always dispatches with the people that aren't necessarily as well known, which is what Ferreira is. Like, he's not one of the best, they're the people that beat Pettis the best.
Yeah.
Less than that, he doesn't seem to lose. It's going to be a really tough test for Ferreira. I think it'd be the biggest win of his career by a long way, and it'd throw him right into the mix if he gets a good win against Pettis on Saturday night. But he's fought the biggest names in his weight class, some of the biggest names. He just can't get going, Pettis, at the moment. I think he really needs to maybe stop fighting the biggest names. They just feed. He's sort of like Cerrone in the fact that they feed him to people who they need a win against a known name. Very much like Cerrone, not quite up there, just on the edge of it, and he's just like, he needs to get a bounce back from that Nate loss, because clearly 7 submissions, 11 TKOs, really good fighter. We're looking at Ferreira, he's a good striker. He's also good on the floor and definitely has a decent submission game with 6 submissions. 7 have gone to decision, which means he clearly has the ability to keep his fight going. It's going to be a 3-round fight. They're probably going to be full of energy, in this weight class. Only 3 TKOs in 16 wins. That's going to be interesting.
If I see a Ferreira win, I can't see him knocking him out.
No, he doesn't really do it, does he?
But
he has won his last 5 after that Poirier loss. So if he'd got that win, I don't think we'd be seeing this fight. No.
For me, I'm going to predict quite a bold one. I think this. I'm going to go for this being fight of the night.
Do you think?
Because I think they're going to both just come at each other.
Yeah, they're both scrapping.
And I'm going to go for a late second submission from Pettis.
Do you think Pettis is going to get it?
Yeah, I just think it's unfair to call him not favourite.
No, I agree with you. I'm going to go with
but that's not ruling anything.
I'm going to go with a decision in the favour of Ferreira. I think he's going to win 2-1 rounds. I think Pettis will be strong in sort of the 3rd round where he's more experienced, against bigger names. But I think the first 2, it'll just be a lot of pressure from Ferreira. I don't think it'll be that interesting, because I think he's going to be on top of him for the first 2 rounds, and then they'll stand up for the 3rd. But I don't think he's going to get a TKO win or anything, either of them. I think it's just going to be quite a slow and floor-based fight. I think for the first couple of rounds, I think that's where he's going to win it, 2-1. In my opinion, that's where I'm seeing it. Ferreira for for a big win in his career. and I think it's a good time to fight
Definitely
Pettis.
be the biggest win, and definitely the biggest fight. Well, not necessarily the biggest fight with Dustin Poirier, but
Poirier's a bigger name,
but I'd say biggest fight in terms of this is a stepping stone now. If he does win this,
well, how long ago was
Then
that fight against?
the Poirier must have been. I don't really remember seeing it, so
Let me have a look.
I definitely think
that
it'd been
Poirier
about
fight
4 years
was
ago.
in
So
2015.
4 years ago.
So, like,
well,
Poirier was less then, you know.
yeah,
He's fighting the sport's gone massively since then. You've got now we're fighting 2020 against Pettis. You get that win, that's changing his career, I think. And I think, this loss for Pettis, he's just gonna fight again. I think they'll feed him to another name. Either they'll give him a rising star or someone who needs a win, like someone similar to Nate again, who clearly wanted a win, got it because he was fighting. I'm interested in this division. I think it should be fun. They're pretty good, pretty exciting lightweights. I don't know if they're there. Again, like we said before, looking at the lightweight division, are they either of them going to look like they're going to be challenging anytime soon? Anywhere near those sort of lightweight names, like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I know that it's so stacked at the minute. It's unbelievable.
It's a horrible place to be if you're a
Lightweight and
you got so many names. Like even like
lightweight, welterweight, middleweight's looking brilliant right now, isn't it?
like you've got to look at that. Edson Barboza, Al Iaquinta, Kevin Lee, Dan Hooker, Pilfelder, all outside of the top 5. Outside of the top 5, that is mental.
No.
You've got Alexander Hernandez, Charles Oliveira, Gillespie, Pettis, all of these names in that division. You get a win there, you're never gonna have like another fight where you've got much of a, looking at him. You got Paul Felder and Kevin Lee are the people I'd wanna see after this for whoever wins.
Well,
for either
you
of
gotta
them.
wait on Felder Hooker first.
Yeah, true.
Which I think Hooker will come away with the win.
Do you think?
That's too early to say. We'll talk on that on the next time.
Yeah, well, nearer the time, but it's definitely an exciting division, and it definitely an exciting fight. So we shall see.
Not our favourite card as of the year yet. Well, technically of the year, 'cause it's the first card of the year.
Yeah, this is the best fight, this best card of the year so far.
Yeah, but we can't wait for it anyway, and can't wait to see Conor McGregor back in action.
Well, and especially in your case, from getting a good win under his belt, which I agree he definitely needs.
So it'll start with the early prelims on Saturday. Well, Saturday 11:30 p.m, which will be Alexa Camur, Justin Ledette.
What?
Alexa Camur v Justin Ledette.
Okay, I didn't know. What
Brian
you said
Kelleher v Ode Osborne, and Sabina Mozo v JJ Aldrich.
Yeah, I've heard of it, to be fair. Or is that him?
Him.
Is it him?
Prelims will start at 1, which will have Roxanne Modafferi v Macy Barber. Macy Barber's unbeaten.
Name?
Audrey Feely v Sadiq Youssef.
Sadiq Youssef, heard of him.
Tim Elliott v Askar Askarov.
That's a cool name.
Dre Dober v Nasrat Hakaprast.
Yeah, they are
struggling with cards.
these.
They have struggled with this card.
Definitely. That's it.
That will be the prelims, and of course the main card.
The main card, as we've spoken about.
With Pettis starting it off and McGregor ending it.
Start as you mean to go on. Good start.
So
Bit of weak in the middle, but
yeah, that's it then.
Well,
so at Las Vegas T-Mobile Arena on Saturday, 18th of January, will be the start of UFC 246. 246.
To be fair, I think it's an exciting way to start with a McGregor fight. I think it's starting the year, right?
Yeah, happy days. Happy to see it.
He's definitely said he wants a good year, so I think it will be, and this is how you start, with a nice McGregor win.
We'll be back next week anyway, talking about McGregor potential win, hopefully. Maybe. We don't know what'll happen. Anything will happen. The results on that night, I'm talking about next week's Fight Night 166, which is the main event of Curtis Blades and Junior Dos Santos.
Is it exciting?
Yeah.
Blades Dos Santos.
Yeah, that'll be all. Great, and see you next time.
Bye.